guys, we're gonna start it off with a little top water. Temperatures are cooling. This little guy was committing suicide here. We want to find him a little bit bigger than this, but that hit on the top got my juices flowing. So let this one go and let's get a big one. I love starting off with the top water. Got a good one on finally. Been getting a lot of smacks. Sam's been tattooing them with the cork. Naturally, when it's a lot of throwbacks, that cork's gonna really catch them. We're fishing over some grass right now, as you can see right there. And that's what you want before it gets too cold. We're starting to finally get some legitimate fronts come through here. Before it gets too cold though, you're gonna be catching them on top water over this grass. You wanna be finding some eel grass wherever you go, Lake Catherine, Lake Pontchartrain, and they will come up and smack that top water, guys. But always have somebody behind you throwing that cork. It's a great trail bait. Sam's killing them on that cork this morning also. All right, guys, so what we're doing this morning, got a nice early start, had a somewhat of a crisp morning out here. Had a pretty decent cold front come through last night, or the night before. And was trying to decide which way I wanted to go, so I just simply picked what would be the calmest shoreline in Pontchartrain, as I wanted to throw some top waters. And the colder and colder it gets, the bigger and bigger these fish get on these grass flats around here. But it's still not that cold. Water temperatures are still in the mid 70s. Fish are starting to grow up a little bit, but the cork is still outdoing the top water. But you know me, that don't mean nothing for me. I'm gonna keep throwing the top water. The top water is gonna yield bigger fish. You might get 1/5 of the bites that the cork will, but whoop, that was a good smack. But when you do, it's typically a keeper. Those smaller trout usually don't like to come up and hit the cork, but I mean the top water. And what's crazy is in this, when you're fishing like this in the fall, you could be catching nothing but 10-inch trout, and then catch 5 in a row, and then boom, you hit one 19 inches. And that's just the way it is. The females get mixed in there with the males, and they start getting more and more big ones in here as it cools off more and more. Ooh. All right, we got a little double up action, guys. I got what it feels like a decent one on the top water. Sam's got a little pinochle on the cork, and that's typically what happens. You get your smaller ones on the cork. Yep, that's a decent one. That's a decent one. Here we go, Hanala girl. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Beautiful fish. Lots of action in here over the grass. You can see the grass like it's on the fish. It was flying off the hook. That's what we're looking for. Walking a dog with that top water matrix mullet. I'll water ski this one in. That sucker knocked the bananas out of his bar. Another keeper, baby. What you think, Nala? Simba took the day off today. Surprisingly, he's been taking a day off a lot lately. I think Simba likes being home alone, chilling, watching TV. But that top water starting to do some work here. Get her up. Get her. Ooh, look at that grass. All right, we're gonna make a little move here. Idle out of this grassy cove. We're gonna go to another little grassy cove. I'm looking at it. There's no boats in there. They got a few boats in here. Try to get secluded here. And we're catching some pretty decent fish. Sam's doing much better with the cork, but I'm getting some pretty nice ones on the top water. And it's just getting better and better every time we try the top water and the corks out here over these grassy flats. The fish are getting a little bit bigger. The keeper ratio grows up, and that's typically what happens. And then once it really gets some good cold snaps, when that water gets in the 60s, that's when we move to the bridges and we start catching nothing but those 2 and 3 pounders. But we're gonna make a little move, not too far, see if we can get some more top water and cork trout. Stay tuned.
That's what I'm talking about.
Pretty trout. There we go. Made a little move. Have a little grass pocket here. Sun's coming up good and high now, so I'm switching over to the Matrix Rip Shad. Be throwing that some. And obviously this cork is always effective in the fall. Got the little Shrimp Creole TKO under there. Catching more beautiful trout just like this right here. Look at this, guys. I just caught this one on the Rip Shad. And that's either some type of prop scar or some kind of predator fish, alligator gar, redfish, shark, maybe a bigger trout, something tattooed that fish. I hope he survives. But here's one of our newer Rip Shads, and how you work it, you just bomb it out there like so, rod tip down, and you work it just like we worked that top water this morning. Now again, this is typically a big trout bait. If you're on a lot of schoolies, the cork tends to work better. But you just rip, 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 pause, hence the name Rip Shad. Rip, 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 pause. Just make sure you pause that lure. That way they can, they love to grab it when it's just in that sitting, floating position. What we got here, guys? Oh, got a trout hooked in that, on the side there. That's what they'll do. Oh! They'll sit there, and they'll flash on that Matrix Rip Shad. Look, I got a scale right there on the hook. And you got 6 super sharp hooks. One of them's gonna get him. A lot of times when you're using these hard baits, these jerk baits, they don't get hooked clean in the mouth. But nice fish to end this episode on. Did some top water fishing early this morning. We did the cork fishing. Sam did real well on the cork. And we're ending it on the Matrix Rip Shad right here. The redhead. Make sure to subscribe to the monthly bait box. We'll be giving out a little bit of everything we use today in this month's bait box. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as we're right before winter, and we like to do a lot of shoreline and over the grass fishing still before we move on to the bridges. Hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Subscribe to everything. Until next time, good fishing.